Now, FrogEyes Radio presents Artist Showcase. We'll sit down with a featured artist and find out how they got their start, who influenced them musically, and go with them inside the studio as they tell us where their inspiration comes from when it comes to songwriting. Stay with us as we go behind the music on FrogEyes Radio presents Artist Showcase, featuring Stormfolk.
And while I'm loving every minute, I think about the time that you and I have shared together in this time of our lives. It wasn't easy, just you and I, but we're here and now I know why. I would love you a million times, just to say you're mine, and everything is fine. I will love you to the edge of earth and back again. So show me a smile, and I'll be here for a while, until we fall asleep tonight in each other's arms. Sparks from the start, yeah, no clue that you already held my heart. Our love's like gravity, I feel it pulling me, like the planets dance as one in harmony. Now I can say you're mine, and everything is fine. I will love you to the edge of earth and back again. So show me a smile, and I'll be here for a while, until we fall asleep tonight in each other's arms. When I'm with you, when you are down, no one's around. You slip, you're found, you drown in your own tears. This time you'll find you can be mine. We can rewind, rewrite, and start again. Love is blind, but I can say you're mine, and everything is fine. I will love you to the edge of earth and back again. So show me a smile, and I'll be here for a while, until we fall asleep, tonight in each other's arms.
We're here in Pensacola, Florida, live with the band Stormfolk, and we really just want to kind of talk to you guys to find out a little bit about you and to tell our audience as well. So, first off, how did you come upon the name Stormfolk?
The name Stormfolk. So I lived in Orlando. I went to college at UCF, and at the time, I started Stormfolk playing in Disney, and I thought about doing karate as a kid, and I did karate with this. I was probably like 7 years old, and there was this a younger girl that fought everyone, and she always won. And she was a really good fighter, and her name was Stormy. And I thought she was just so legendary because she could take on anyone no matter their size, and she would win. And she was just a good fighter. So I remembered that as I got into my 20s, and I just thought how legendary she was. And then I really want our music to have this legendary, folky feel. Like it's like those two things combined.
Yeah.
So I made a list of like 50 names, and Stormfolk was like the 29th name on the list.
Wow.
And I showed it to all my friends, and at the time they all liked it. So they all kind of picked, and it was all these like ideas like Stormy and the Giant.
So you kind of left it up to your friends?
I did, and I showed it to probably like 20 or 30 people.
Now I had a completely different idea of how y'all got that name. You know, being on the Florida coast, and you're always having some kind of storms come out here. I was thinking, well, they do some folk type music.
That's brilliant.
Storms, it kind of melts. I had a completely different idea. Just so everybody out there knows who I'm actually talking back and forth with, why don't we introduce the members of the band?
Yeah, my name is Mick. I'm a vocalist, and I play guitar and drums in Stormfolk.
My name is Preston. I play the violin in Stormfolk.
And I'm Kaylin. I am a vocalist and I also play bass.
Now, Kaylin, you just started playing bass a few years ago, right?
I wouldn't even say years. A year and some change. I'm very new. Yes.
I really like your bass. Ladies and gentlemen, she's got a, what is that, like a peach color?
It's pink. It's shell pink.
Shell
It's
pink.
a matte
Yeah, it's fitting. It's fitting.
Yeah, I
But
love
it's a
it.
Fender.
It's a Fender
Yeah,
jazz bass,
that's a good bass. Are you happy with it?
I love it. I love it.
And what made you pick up bass?
Honestly, Mick and I were talking. It just really fit what we needed at the time, and I fell in love with it. And so it just
Really?
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun.
Mick needed a rhythm section.
yeah.
It pairs well with the kick
It does.
drum.
Yeah.
It pairs really well.
So, just so everybody knows, Mick and Kaylin are brother and sister.
Right.
Yeah, and the manager of the band is
My husband. So
Zach.
it's a family affair for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That is great. Now, you seem to be the odd man out, Preston.
Yes. He's family.
He's family now. That's great. That's perfect. We talked a little bit about how you got the name and how I thought you got the name, but what type of genre do you think you would best describe the group?
So we're classified as alternative folk. So alternative folk, I don't know, singer-songwriter with a little bit of bluegrass and pop, but alternative folk are the two big ones.
And you do all originals.
So
mostly originals.
So we perform covers that we love, like covers and originals. So the covers are our own spin on, obviously. And then our originals we perform as much as we can at restaurants and stuff, but whenever we book our own shows, yes.
Yeah, I think you got to kind of, when you're out in that type of environment, you got to kind of give them something that they recognize.
Right.
Or can go, hey, that sounds like such and such. And then you throw your rhythms.
Yep, exactly.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I like that. That's what we, when I was in bands in the early years, this is back when we were still beating on rock.
Right.
Now, that's pretty much what we did
on
too.
rock.
Now, you guys are based in Pensacola, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Are you all from the area? No.
We're from all over.
Okay, so let's start with you then.
All right.
Nick.
So I was born in Alabama, but I left Alabama at 10 years old, and I grew up in South Florida.
Now, did you leave Alabama voluntarily, or
our
did
parents
they
split
kick
up
you
whenever
out?
we were kids?
Oh,
No.
I thought maybe Alabama came and said, no,
it's
you
just
got
like
to go.
it was kind of random. It's just our parents split up, and I went to South Florida. But Kaylin was actually born in South Florida.
Really?
Yeah, I'm from Vero Beach. We're born in Vero Beach.
Vero Beach.
Went to high school in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Graduated from there, and I actually came here for college, Pensacola. Met Zach here, fell in love with the area, and just
Terrific. So Zach then is from this area.
Yeah.
Zach's family's military, and they were stationed
Oh,
here.
good. Yeah. What branch?
He is in the Navy.
Navy.
Is that his dad's, his father? Yes.
Oh,
the
cool.
Navy.
Yeah, I always like to point that out. I spent 30 years in the military, so I always want to let people know we have other military people out there doing things.
Absolutely.
You're very silent, Preston.
Where are you from,
sorry.
Preston?
I'm from Michigan.
Michigan.
Long ways from here.
Do you want to say where in Michigan? A shout out, maybe?
Nobody's heard of it, but it's called Stonington.
Stonington.
Yeah.
I know, nobody's there.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Middle of nowhere on a farm.
Cool. What brought you down here?
A lot of my family's down here, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Like that.
The only people left up in Michigan are my parents.
How did y'all? I'm assuming the start of the band came from you, Nick, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you kind of said how you got into it. You've always been playing music, pretty much.
So Kalen and I both grew up playing music. I was a trombone player and piano, and I picked up guitar in my teenage years. And Kalen was alto saxophone and piano. So we grew up, and she was the singer, so I didn't sing at all. And then at around 14 years old,
was that by choice, or did Kalen say, "No, you're not the singer"?
I just had an annoying voice. I had think Justin Bieber, but worse, and I never grew up out of it. So it was just like. So I sang a lot of harmonies, and I sang a lot of backup, and I didn't really sing lead until my 20s.
Really?
Yep.
Cool. It's never too late to start.
Yeah.
So don't.
Everyone's got a voice.
What is some of the band or even individuals' musical influences?
Go ahead, Galen.
I really love musical theater, which probably isn't a popular choice, but that's what I really enjoy listening to personally. But I also really love the Lumineers.
Oh, I like the Lumineers. Yeah.
Mumford and Sons. I'm a fan of Kesha. A couple of different things, and then I really like the Beach Boys too.
Really?
I'm kind of all over the place.
There's nothing wrong with that.
For me, it's a feeling and emotion. I wake up and how am I feeling today, and that's kind of the music I'm drawn to.
Yeah.
But
See, on FrogEyes, we play all types of genres.
Yeah.
So, because I like all kinds of music, and so we're just trying to represent all the different genres. So when you guys' songs come out, it doesn't matter what it is. We want to hear it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And what about you?
So my musical influences. So I had a John Mayer phase, and then I got out of the John Mayer phase, and I got into the Mumford and Sons phase. And then I like a lot of indie artists. I really love like female vocalists that are like more New Zealand and more Australian, and like I love just kind of that indie alternative stuff right now. But I really love like some old hip hop. And
Like who?
Like I don't know. I
I'm
would
putting
say
you on
like
the spot.
no. I would say like older. I would say like I like Biggie, and then like newer. I would say like I was a real big fan of Mac Miller, and I love Kanye, and I love. There's just some artists out there that I think write really great songs.
Biggie's not that old.
Yeah, but
Maybe two.
I was born in '94, so I guess Preston.
I'm all over the place with my music. I'm like from the 20s and all the way up, you know.
Yeah, but why violin?
Oh, violin.
Is it violin or fiddle?
Same thing, no difference.
Oh, okay.
It's a style. So for
I
me,
think some of the people down in Lower Louisiana would disagree.
Right.
But
yeah, definitely. So for me, violin. My sister, she played the violin, and I was 4 years old when I started. And I don't even remember. So all I know is that there's home videos of me when I was really little, and my sister would be practicing, and I'm like really tiny, running around in circles around her while she's practicing, and then my parents were like, we should probably give him a violin too.
Let's buy him an instrument.
Preston's musically the best in our band because he got a 5-year jump on all of us.
Okay.
It's been about 22 or so years
There
that
you
I've
go,
been
man.
playing.
Somewhere deep inside, I am losing my mind. I've tried my hardest to find a song I'm destined to write. Break me from this mold. Don't let my body grow old. It's burning inside my soul. I will sing or die writing the song. So it leaves So unleash the beast that sits in your belly. Don't feed it with hatred and greed. Give a shout for the love that you will be spreading. You are only awakening. You are only awakening.
Where do you feel the band is different than other bands in your type of music? What sets you apart?
I would feel all of us have a really good ear whenever something is corny or something sounds out of place.
Yeah.
So we don't feel the need to play or record something if it's too complicated or overproduced, or
Yeah,
we
that-
like the simple stuff sometimes is the best stuff, and if something feels good, it is good. And
Yeah.
we kind of live to that.
That's good. That's a good way to look at it. It's, I ask bands that all the time. Because everybody thinks they're the best band.
Yeah.
Or at least they want to be the best band.
I don't know
So
if I think that.
but I always ask, okay, well, all right, that's a good thing to have, but what makes you different? Why should people listen to you or come to your shows and not just, chalk you up with the rest of them? And a lot of them have things like their work ethic and, their practice, their schedule and all this stuff. And that's good stuff. But I always want to hear what they have to say.
I would say personally, I can't help but do it. Like,
Yeah.
I write songs naturally. It's not really something I sit down and try to do. Like, I really write songs naturally. And so performing, I feel like my friends and our audience deserve to hear what we write, and I think they have a right to hear our stuff live and be able to come to a venue either paid or for free and hear what we naturally make, because we're going to write stuff that no one else can, and they're going to write stuff that we can't.
See, that's the mark of an artist. Not just a musician, but an artist. If you're a painter, you paint because you
Right.
just have to paint.
Yeah.
Or if you're a writer, you write because you just have to write.
Yeah.
And as a musician, whether somebody's coming to see your shows or
Right.
listening to your tracks, you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's you. That's what you do.
Yeah.
See, I like to hear that.
Preston's just a
That's gonna
natural
carry it.
player. He can just play almost anything on a violin, just right out of the box.
I
And
don't even need to know the key.
Yeah, and Kaylin doesn't even think about what she's singing. It just always sounds good. And for me, like, I really have to focus on singing, and Kaylin really just. So everyone's got their.
I'm up there daydreaming a lot of the times while I'm playing. And
But also Mick is literally kicking a drum, a tambourine, singing, and playing a guitar at the same time.
Without
and
a tail,
I
I'd
certainly
use it
could not
too.
do that.
That's multitasking
Yeah.
right there. So, is that why you picked up the bass then? So you would have more that you could do, kind of compete?
Well, we truly believe we need to use it all, right?
Yeah.
We want to all be doing as much.
They're all
bringing as much as
complementary
we can.
Yeah. So the bass is the low end, the guitar is the middle,
Yeah.
and the violin has the high end.
Yeah.
So they're all complementary.
3-part harmonies
Yeah.
going on. Yep. Of your shows that you've played, wherever and how big, how small, think about what was one of the most memorable, best shows that you've played. And I'm putting you on the spot for a
Has
reason.
anyone got one?
Anything?
So we met.
One
at
that
this-
just stands out.
What do you got, Preston?
I enjoyed our Handlebar show.
Handlebar. Yeah, the Handlebar is a venue downtown that hosts independent and signed artists, and they'll bring them in like just a music venue. And they had a great sound engineer that worked really well with us. His name was Zach. And
Not this Zach.
no, not this Zach.
He's not
but
that good.
Really good name. Yeah.
People don't recognize the folks that do that. Your front of house, your back house sound. They don't really understand what their job is,
So
and they
important.
can make you sound really good, or they
Right.
could kill your show.
I would say I personally like venues that have, like, where we're not up right against a wall. And I know that's a little thing, but if we have kind of like our backs open behind us, I can get a better feel and a better sound. Stuff isn't reflecting everywhere. It sounds really natural.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of odd.
So the handlebar.
Yeah, if we're just not kind of backed up against a wall, and that place was really good. Anywhere with a great sound engineer or just a great lighting team and just guys that just love what they do. We love working with people that love what they do.
Now, what is one of the worst shows you've ever had, and why?
Anyone got a
You don't have to name names if you don't want
Preston,
to.
the humidity and that one?
Oh, yes. Where was that?
Preston plays a violin, so violins aren't covered in lacquer like a guitar is. So whenever Preston plays a really, really, really humid gig, with an acoustic violin, his whole violin gets wet. And it's almost impossible.
It could warp, it could crack.
Oh, man.
It could
I
fall
feel
apart.
so bad for him.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really the venue or what we were doing.
Yeah,
Just
it's really just
It was
about
the
the
we couldn't
circumstance.
control.
Yeah.
Oh,
Weather.
that's one
And
of the
then I bought
challenges.
an electric violin because
And it helps.
Is that what you're going to play tonight
Yeah.
for us?
yes.
Yeah, we're right before a show, ladies and gentlemen, and they're gonna play tonight all the way till 10, right?
Yeah.
From 6
Oh,
to
yeah.
10, and we are at the. It's got a new name now. It's called the Salty Rose.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I'm sitting in the Salty Rose.
Yes.
Cool.
Let's go.
This is, I think, with the sale. I think the hotel sold and everything.
Yeah.
They changed the name, to Salty Rose.
Yeah.
And I know this because when I called, I said, "Hey, where's the Landshark Landing?" And they said, "You mean the Salty Rose?" And I
Oh,
said,
what?
I guess I do.
What?
So anyway, yes, they're going to play later on tonight. Let's see. I want to get to some of these juicy questions that I have. You guys have any funny or interesting stories of tours that you've been on, or something that was just goofy?
So we're pretty fresh. Not a whole lot of tours yet. We've
We're
been
gonna
playing a
change
lot
that.
locally on the coast. Yeah, we would love to tour because we got a lot of listeners that do not live here and they don't see our shows and they just know us from our originals.
Yeah.
And we want to meet those guys.
So when y'all do tour, you're
Yeah.
driving everywhere,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or flying, private jets.
Well, the sound equipment's always the big thing that you got to haul somewhere
Yeah.
because the instruments, you got to bring those with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Amps and
blessed to have
sound.
a trailer, a van trailer, so we can kind of throw everything
And I
in
see
the
your
trailer.
roadies
Yeah.
hard at work over there.
Yeah, he is.
He is. Yeah, he's doing a good job. We'll
love
talk
Zach.
to him later. So what's next for Stormfolk?
Our second album comes out June 19th, 2023. It's called The Queen and the King.
I want to make sure I get that.
Yeah, The Queen and the King, second album. And then, all these songs that we've released so far, they're kind of songs that I've been sitting on for a few years that have been mine. We haven't co-written songs yet, so I'm really excited to get into a musical time. Like Preston's not even on every single song yet on this second, because they're just older songs that are finally getting released.
You're not going to have him come in and record a part?
So no, just because they're already
too much?
Yeah. Preston's really no, not at all. They're just I'm always
They
looking
weren't written for that.
I'm always looking forward, so I don't want to go back and work on songs that I already paid a feature on. So I think our best songs are always in front of us, and we can have great songs, but I believe that there's just greater songs to come that we can make, not focusing on the same 12.
Oh, man. You see, you guys, follow this guy. He's going to take you far. How can your fans, if they're not fans yet, how can they get in touch? How can they find out where you are?
Yeah.
Gigs, shows, new music. How
Right.
can they find out about you?
So our good friend Caitlin just made us a website, stormfolk.com.
Okay.
And we always say storm like the rain, folk like the people, in case someone mishears it. But stormfolk.com, and you can see our concerts and everything. It'll link you to everything. If you want to watch us, we are on YouTube. We're obviously on all the big music platforms.
Terrific, yeah. And we also, on FrogEyes Radio, on our artist page, we have a link for you guys that goes directly to that website.
Yeah.
So people can, if they're on FrogEyes listening, they can go to that page, click it, and they
You can
got
even
you.
read a little about us on there if you
What
want
about
to.
social medias, yo?
Yeah, we're on everything. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are our biggest ones.
Okay, you got any handles you want to pass so people can quickly find you?
Just at Stormfolk. Pretty much all universally across Stormfolk.
Very good, very good. So you told me about you're getting ready, or you're finishing up the studio. When do you project that'll be out?
It'll be out on June 19th, 2023 for our second album. Our first album came out in 2020.
What was the name of that?
It was just our title album, with Stormfolk.
The debut self-titled
It was.
album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll hear some of those songs tonight. We play from our first and second album a lot, and they sound a lot different live because now we have a fiddle player.
There we go. What is some of the best advice musically that you received when you were first starting out, either as an individual musician or as a group? On the spot.
Yeah, Preston.
Go ahead, Preston. He's itching to say something.
I'm trying to think about it. There's a lot of advice.
Yeah, but something that really made a difference in the way you developed as a musician or the way you developed as a band. Nothing.
This sounds so redundant, but I would say don't try too hard. And don't try to sound like someone else too hard.
Yes.
Like really embrace what you are and who you are and what you sound like and what you're naturally good at. And because we all got our icons that we love.
Yeah.
And we all got our people that we want to be like, and we all are jealous of someone in some way. But more so just take influence and take the stuff you like from artists instead of really trying. I see a lot of people just trying to replicate stuff that's already there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sound, and you hear it a million times.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks it's new to them.
Right.
So I guess that would be your advice to some up-and-coming musicians, because even though you say we're young,
right,
there's a lot younger than you.
But
so.
Young, old, whatever, you can still make music. Like
absolutely.
Some people don't make it until way later.
And some people never stop.
Yeah. Some people never make it, and we talked about this. What is making? But like making it is, I feel like, is a mindset more so than a record deal.
Yeah, I agree. You really have to define what your definition of making it is, or your definition of success.
Right.
And not worry about what mainstream says.
And that's why we love your love for independent artists.
Absolutely. I mean, independents are the folks. We used to say we play the music that doesn't get played.
Right.
And that's one thing we do.
Mm-hmm.
But really what we do is we play the best independent music from around the world.
You play the music that deserves to get played.
Yes, absolutely. Because you listen to mainstream radios, and I'm not knocking anybody.
Right. Yeah.
But you hear the same 27 songs over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that goes into the business world that we don't need to talk about. But at FrogEyes, we put you in our rotation.
Right.
We try and categorize you. In other words, if you're a country artist, we're going to put you in our country rotation. But you're going to stay in that rotation as long as you want to be there.
Right.
And it'll just keep playing you and playing you and
We
playing
love
you.
that.
Yeah.
They say as an artist, and we are always learning, so we watch like TED Talks and stuff to just be better performers. And they say when you're starting off as an artist, it's harder to leave the ground than it is to leave orbit. Yeah. So some artists are already floating in orbit, and they've already had their big hit, and it doesn't really matter what they release, if it's good or it's bad, because they already launched up there. So it's important to keep creating new content to launch. And we might have one big song, we might have 5 big songs, but it's a quantity game almost. You just got to keep releasing, keep working, and don't be such a perfectionist.
Yes.
Like the perfectionism will kill any good artist.
Yeah, it will. It definitely will. Well, you guys, I really thank you for taking the time to talk with us before your gig. I know that you got to get up there and do a sound check, so I really do appreciate it, and have a good show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
The storm around us doesn't matter. When I'm scared, you call my name. I was lonely and you found me through the lightning and the waves. And I know the ship is strong, pressing on into the light burst forth. And I know the night seems long, pressing on until my sight turns north. Oh, 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 we've got some loving inside our hearts. With mouths to go, I'll always love you. Oh, 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 we've got some loving inside our hearts. Straight through the thunder, our life as joy increases. We trust our wits, we walk our years. The good inside will always hold on longer. Without the death, we shed our fears. We let them go because with you, I'm stronger.
Eyes Radio presents Artist Showcase is produced and distributed by Malay Productions, LLC, and is recorded right here in Perry, Georgia. I'm Gary Malay, and I hope you'll join us next time on Frog Eyes Radio presents Artist Showcase. Don't miss it.